Get to college athletics, got a story to tell. Coach Wilson on the mic, making dreams swell. From 7 miles in the D to athletes worldwide, talking journeys, struggles, hustle, and pride. Get to college athletics, yeah, you be making it known. Every journey, every climb, they're never alone. Coach Wilson in the chair, straight from Detroit streets, bringing that 7-mile fire, no defeat. He's got athletes talking about the. Greetings and welcome in, everyone, to episode 3 of the Get to College Athletic Podcast. Today, we are going north of the border. We have 2 Canadian volleyball players on. I'll let them introduce themselves. We are here with
Grace
and Sienna.
Ladies, thank you very much for coming on. Grace, you are a 2026, correct?
Yes.
And the same with you, Sienna?
Yeah.
Okay, so Grace, let's start with you. Are you committed to play at the college level at this point?
Yes, I am. I'm committed to Austin P State in Tennessee for beach volleyball.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. That's great. And Sienna, what about you?
I am also committed to play beach volleyball at Georgia State University.
Wow. Congratulations to both of you. And once again, thank you for coming on. And we'll start, Grace, let's start with you a little bit here. So did you play any other sports growing up?
I did figure skating when I was younger, till I was about 9. And then I started with court volleyball. And then the last 3 years I got into beach volleyball.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't give you guys the opportunity. Let me back up here a little bit. So I did say we're going north of the border to Canada. Where exactly are you from, ladies? Grace, we'll start with you.
I'm from Belle River, Ontario.
Okay. What about you, Sienna?
I'm from Harrow, Ontario, so we're only 30 minutes apart and just 30 minutes to Detroit.
Oh, nice. 30 minutes from the D. That's what I like to hear. All right. So Grace, you were saying, do you still do figure skating now or not really?
No, after I started volleyball, I completely stopped figure skating.
Around with age, if you remember.
I was about 9 when I started really starting volleyball.
Okay. All right. What about you, Sienna? Or have you dipped in the other sports or just volleyball?
I actually have an interesting story about coming to volleyball. I was doing dance for about 14 years, competitive dancing, all in. COVID hit, completely lost my passion, just not being in the studio and doing everything online. I was 6 feet at that point and decided
Whoa.
dance wasn't my thing. So I tried out for indoor volleyball, made the A team my first year. And that summer I played beach volleyball and fell in love, and it's just been that ever since.
Wow. Are you over 6 foot tall now or still about 6 foot?
I'm a healthy 6 foot. I'm probably close to 6'1".
Okay. All right. And just we just want to make sure everyone knows you guys are 2026s, and so you gave a verbal commitment, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Grace, let's go back to you. Let's talk about Austin P. That's kind of a big deal. You're playing Division 1. So for those that don't know the difference between indoor volleyball and beach volleyball, Grace, do you mind just, catching the listeners up if they don't know the difference?
Sure. So for beach volleyball, the court is 1 meter shorter on all sides, and we only play with 2 people instead of 6. And then there's a few other different hand rules. There's some rules with hand setting and stuff, but other than that, it's pretty similar.
Okay. Sienna, anything else you would like to add in the differences between beach and indoor? Because to me, obviously, the biggest difference would be 2 players and 6. I would think that's a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. So beach volleyball is a very unique sport in that there is at no cost any substitution. So even if you are messing up point after point, there's no one there standing to sub you in. So it's you and your partner there for a match at a time. And something different about the college level, and even some junior clubs do it, is that a university will put up 5 pairs of players. So if you rank your players 1 to 5, and then you face another school, ones will play, twos will play, threes will play, fours will play, five will play, and whoever wins the 3 matches will win the game. So that's super special, and I think something really cool about beach volleyball.
Wow, Sienna. So let me make sure that I understand it. So you can't sub. So if a coach is getting upset about a performance, he or she just has to be upset about it. They can't take you out of the game.
Yeah, so that's no
Okay.
substitutions. You have to find a way to flip your mindset and fix your mentality and, fix the next point, which I think is really cool.
Right. So Grace, so if you can't be subbed out of a game, do you feel like it's less pressure because you can't come out, or do you feel like more pressure because you don't want to let the team down?
Um, I feel like it's a little bit of both. Like, especially at times where it is a rough game and you're really struggling, you can feel a lot of pressure, like, for your partner, because obviously you want to do good for them. But I also feel like since it's just the two of you, like, the connection is a lot stronger. So there's, like, a lot of trust there, which I think makes it easier.
Right. So I guess, Grace, my question would be, do you decide if you are going to play beach or indoor, or does your talent dictate which one you're going to play?
I don't understand your question.
No,
Can you say?
I'm sorry. So I guess my question is, so how do you decide if, okay, I want to play indoor or if I want to play beach? Like, what's the difference that made you say, hey, I want to play beach at the Division 1 level instead of indoor?
Okay. So, I'm not like the tallest person. I'm about like 5'8", and I play outside for indoor. So usually outsides that play at like a really high level are a little taller than me.
Okay.
So I thought that beach was a good choice because of height, but also just because I like it better than indoor.
Okay. And what about you? Do you feel the same way about playing indoor to beach? Sienna, I'm
Me?
sorry. Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Um, Yeah, for me, I think height is obviously a big thing. If you're a libero and indoor, you're 5'6". I mean, super talented 5'6" athletes have made it to a very high level in beach volleyball, but it's just not common. But I also think a big thing about beach volleyball is just who are you as a person? Are you that ultra competitive, super strong minded, super mentally tough? Because you're going to thrive in beach volleyball because there's no substitutions. You're playing in the crazy weather conditions and it's just a super mental game. So I also think it comes down to that as well when making the choice.
Okay. And thank you, ladies, for that clarity. I do really appreciate it. And before we jump into your recruiting processes to Austin P and GSU, so we were introduced by your coach, Coach Darren. I do some volunteer basketball coaching with him. He's obviously a really good volleyball coach, but can one of you guys share some kind of Coach Darren story for the podcast? We would really appreciate that.
I actually have a funny story about last week in training with Darren.
Perfect. Go ahead. Let's
Um,
hear it.
he was demonstrating a drill for me, and we were working on my cut shot in beach volleyball. And he was trying to show me the proper hand movement to do. And he was trying to flick his wrist. So I went into the drill and I did exactly what he was showing me. He was like, "No, it's not right. It's like there's something off about this." And that's when we realized he was using the wrist that he's completely broken like 3 times and had like a bone sticking out of his hand. He's like, "This is why you're not doing it right. It's because my hand is mangled and I can't even show you the proper thing to use."
That
So it was pretty funny when we realized what was happening.
that sounds like Coach Darren. So I I I appreciate you guys sharing that. But what Coach Darren does around the Windsor area is great for all kids in all sports. So we really do appreciate him. But it's good to tease him sometimes. All right. So let's start with you, Grace, and let's talk about your recruitment. First of all, you're in Canada, right? So how are you becoming recruited by Division I schools if you're all the way in Canada?
So I use this website called NCSA, and I believe it's based in the States, so they have like a bunch of coaches on there, and that's kind of how I like got different emails of like schools and coaches, and there's lots of information on there.
Okay.
So I use that to like I can email through that, so I emailed coaches through there. And I felt like I started a little bit late, like emailing wise, but it worked out in the end. So, yeah.
All right. Same thing with you, Sienna. You're obviously in Canada as well. What do you think was one of the most important things that got you to be seen by college coaches in America?
Yeah, it's a hard thing. At times it feels almost impossible to figure out the right route to take, but luckily Coach Darren is super connected in the beach volleyball world, and we had a lot of college coaches come down and watch us. But I would say the most important things for athletes looking to get recruited is going to those big showcases in the States and making the sacrifices to be able to get there, because I think it's so valuable to meet those coaches and to have
Right.
that exposure and to also see what you want in a coach, because you'll meet a lot of different personalities.
Correct. And Grace, did you take any official visits to any other schools or just Austin P?
No, I just did I had an unofficial visit to Austin P before I committed.
Okay. So what was it that made you select Austin P?
I really liked the coach, Michael. I met him at On Point when Darren had we had a bunch of On Point coaches or NCAA Division I coaches come down, and I met him there, and just through like talking with him on the phone, I really enjoyed like how he was with his players, like when I met him at the school, and I really liked like the campus.
Okay. Okay. And we're over our quota for giving Coach Darren too much credit, right? So that's it. No, I'm just joking. What about Sienna? What about you? Same thing. What made you choose GSU? And did you have any visits to any other colleges?
I didn't have any other official visits, but I did do some camps at different campuses. And I think what made me choose GSU was Coach Beth Van Fleet, the head coach at GSU.
Okay.
She is just phenomenal and the best coach that I could have asked for, and I'm super excited to work with her. She reminds
Wow.
me so much of Darren, actually. And what really made me choose GSU was just I walked in the doors and you can feel the atmosphere and the culture that they cultivate there. It's truly unmatched and something that I didn't experience or feel at the other campuses. Um, which really ultimately made my decision is I immediately felt at home and supported on that campus.
Okay. And so, I mean, I think that's great because sometimes you just know when it starts to feel like home. But
Yeah.
Sienna, I want to ask you this one first, though. How does your family feel about you leaving home to go all the way to GSU? Because that's not around the corner.
Yeah. I feel incredibly grateful to have a family who, from a young age, pushed me to be away from home and grow that independence. My dad moved away from home actually at 16. He was a professional athlete, and I always grew up thinking that was normal, that I would eventually find my way, not close to home. So I'm really excited for this experience, and I'm super grateful that my parents have made me feel supported in my decision.
Oh wow. I mean, you definitely seem mentally ready and excited. So that's great.
Yeah.
Um, Grace, same question. How does your family feel that when you graduate in 2026, that they're going to have to come to Austin P to see you?
I think a lot of the same things as Sienna. I think my family's really supportive of me for it. My mom's a little bit sad that I'm gonna be going away, but like my whole family's super excited for me. We both did Team Ontario the past 2 summers, So we've kind of experienced like being away at a camp for a while, like away from our family. And I feel like that's like one of the big experiences that made me want to go away for school, because I got like a little like look into how it would actually be.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds great. So Grace, I want to stick with you here. So how much do you know about the transfer portal?
Um, I don't know a whole lot,
Hmm.
but I know like it's a good resource for athletes in college, and it can be really helpful for people that want a switch or need a switch from
Right.
their school.
Right. And the reason why I ask is because recruiting has been tough for a lot of high school athletes because of the transfer portal. So I think it speaks highly about you guys' game that you've already got that kind of locked up as being graduates in 2026. So once again, congratulations. I think that's great to both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I just would like to close it out with this. Some You can give some recruiting advice to any of the players that are coming behind you, or even players that are still looking for some athletic funding. Maybe being far away from schools like you guys are, but you still found a way to pursue your goals. So, Grace, we'll start with you. Any kind of advice or feedback or regrets, anything that you want to share with anyone coming behind you?
I would say to really put yourself out there through like emails, and if you're able to go to showcases and tournaments and stuff like that, to do it, because you really like you want to get your name out there, and like all the exposure can really help like coaches to see you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Sienna, same question. What kind of feedback or advice would you give?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in the recruitment process, it's going to drain you. It's like people warn you, it's emotionally, physically, mentally draining. But putting yourself out there is the biggest thing. Putting your all into it. If you want this, there's no way you're going to get it without putting everything you have into it. So, all that energy and time, extra reps spent in the gym, emails spent, traveling on weekends with your mom or your dad or whoever to tournaments. It's a lot, but in the end, it's worth it. If you really want this, you have to go out there and get it. So I think getting that exposure and seeing all the different opportunities in different schools will really land you at the right place.
Episode 3 is now in the books. Thank you for listening. And I just want to say thank you to Sienna and Grace for coming on to the podcast. And we, of course, wish them the best. And we also want to say thank you to Coach Darren of On Point Volleyball in Canada for making this introduction and making this podcast possible today. Once again, this podcast is brought to you by Flatline Digital. Their information will be in the show notes again. Thank you and have a great week.
Get to college athletics, got a story to tell. Coach Wilson on the mic, making dreams swell. From 7 miles in the D to athletes worldwide, talking journey, struggles, hustle, and pride. Get to college athletics, yeah, you ain't making it known. Every journey, every climb, they're never alone. Coach Wilson in the chair, straight from Detroit streets, bringing that 7 mile fire, no